Howdy, what's going on? Hold on. Live chat. Okay. So I hope everyone's doing well. So earlier this morning I did a morning live stream. I was actually headed um to the farmers market and another market that were going on simultaneously, and a few folks pointed out um that they had heard Israel got attacked, and I'm like, well, hells, that's not good. And I started looking at hey Joe. And what I saw was actually a lot worse than what I was expecting. I saw footage on various platforms, and it kind of shocked the shit out of me because well, it's not surprising if you understand how these things happen, but it was pretty bad. I'm gonna try and pull up some of the attacks. So apparently, what happened was originally everyone heard that there was an attack on Israel with 2,000 rockets, then it was 4,000, 8,000. What I'm hearing now is that the rocket attack was actually cover for a ground and sea infiltration, and these guys actually came out hey, shalom, Jason. Good morning. They came out in on ships. They came out and I'm trying to find the damn footage. They've come out on ultralights, it looks like a kite with a seat and a little propeller, and the dudes, they literally came over the border, and they started basically shooting up everyone they saw. I'm trying to find some of the footage, but originally we thought it was just it was just a video. I'm trying to pull up some of this stuff. So some of the footage I saw. All right, hold on. I'm gonna disconnect this. So they're showing folks. I don't know why they have this stupid music. They've had videos of families in their minivans on the highway, and they had backpacks and stuff. It looked like they were going camping. Had been pulled out and shot. There are a couple of things that concern me. One, Israel is not going to react softly to something like this. We all know that. One, how the hell did the Mossad and IDF not get Joe, impossibly? Um, but how the hell did they get past Mossad and the IDF and coordinate both a rocket, a ground, and a seaborne attack at the same time? Uh, well, Joe, honestly, they may, which is fair. There may also be a case where Israel's going to say, to hell with all of this, and they're going to pop a nuke on someone. And then while we were all looking at Russia and Ukraine, um, oops, and it's hard to say. So apparently the Iron Dome was active. It just got overrun because they fired 8,000 rockets. But it was all bullshit because apparently while the rockets were up in the air, these guys were coming in very low to the ground in vehicles and ultralights and just popping out and running. Something's weird, but oh Jesus, that scared the shit out of me. Um, what concerns me is the way the attack was done, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents on it. And I'm not trying to predict the future or anything. Yeah. Well, Joe, exactly. They're homemade, they're unguided. They have a blueprint from like 1964. They build it with whatever the hell metal they find. They get propellant from Iran and warheads from Korea, and then they just launch a shit ton of them, and with the hopes that one of them will land on something important. Hey, Virginia, what concerns me is one, a lot of the operatives were already inside Israel, apparently, is what I'm hearing. Uh, Two, I'm trying to find the other footage. And maybe I'm looking at the wrong platform. Hang on a second here. Uh, Two, the intelligence services I guess, didn't have enough time to react. Uh, Three, they're targeting civilians to distract the responders from what's going on. Basically, they're sidetracking the response. It kind of makes me almost wonder if this is not a template. Oh, here's another one. I'm going to tell you right now, this is kind of sad to see. Um, Hold on a second here. Oh, all right, it won't let me pause it. So they took an Israeli police officer prisoner, and they're basically parading her around the street. It keeps like stopping and going. And they're parading captured Israelis around the street. I don't know if she's a cop. I don't know what. I'm not going to show you the rest of that because I saw the rest and it's not good. Um, these are families. They got grabbed off the highway. And on the one hand, they're saying Palestine's disappearing. On the other hand, that part of the world has been having issues since even before the Crusades. Uh, but it's a stupid Allah Akbar guy again. Um, I'm not even going to show this one. Nope, nope. That's just awful. But anyway, that's question why so far I've seen, not anywhere. So we don't know if it's in response to something. We don't know if it's coordinated. We don't know if it's prompted. There was some speculation Putin was encouraging it, but someone shot that down and said, "Look, Israel said, hey, look, what's going on with Ukraine and Russia? We have Jewish folks in both countries. We're not touching that. We're not helping either side. That's not our business. Israel remains neutral." And Putin and Zelensky agreed not to screw with Israel. So it would be stupid. Putin's got enough on his plate right now. I don't think it makes sense for him to go and like fuck with Israel for no reason. Iran, maybe. They say Iran's close to having fissible plutonium or uranium, sorry. And if that's the case, maybe it's a distraction from that. I don't know. It could be something that was in the works for years. Keep in mind, if it was something this well planned, it's probably been in the works for a hot minute. I'm trying to find, hold on, daggone it. Okay, I'm going to show this other footage. Julie Oren is actually an IDF soldier. She's also a firearms instructor. So I'm going to.
Israel is under a massive attack we've never seen before. We woke up this morning to thousands of rockets that were fired into Israel by Hamas. This was done in order to mask a land infiltration of Hamas terrorists coming into Israel by land, by sea,
Stephen,
and by
that's a
air.
good point. Now, I don't know how authentic some of this footage is. That's authentic. So it's a ground attack as well, and it's a pretty massive one.
Hamas terrorists started taking over cities, killing hundreds of people and kidnapping soldiers, innocent citizens, including women and children, into Gaza.
I don't know what the hell
So
they're
far, we
doing.
know about at least 100 Israelis that were murdered and more than 1,000 people that were critically injured. Those terrorists aren't interested in peace or two-state solution. All they want is to wipe Israel off the map.
Now, again, yes,
I'll
two
say what I
sides to
said
the story,
before.
but
This war is not about the land. It's about existence. I really hope that the world see now what bloodthirsty monsters we deal with.
so what concerns me, yeah, and we don't know, right? We don't know. This is her take. Obviously, she's Israeli. I'm seeing some stuff from the other side as well. What prompted them to attack, and it's kind of hard to say. What concerns me is one, they're blatantly targeting civilians, and now the Israelis' response with F-16s and A-10s and whatever the hell other aircraft they have is to flatten entire buildings, which is going to kill more civilians. Having a fifth column already in Israel helped. Where's Wolf Blitzer? Yeah, no, sorry, you got the Spanish guy with the gray goatee. You don't get Wolf today. But Israeli and Israel, pissing me off. Israel made a good guy. Is made the good guy yet they often been. No, they've been shitty, Joe. They've been shitty to each other for what 100 years now, 80 years, and probably before then. Um, what concerns me, look at the mode of attack. Let's take country A and B. Let's just call them A and B. Ukraine and Russia, Israel and Hamas, or whoever. You get a bunch of people, a critical mass inside the borders of the other country you want to attack. Then you do something like a Black Swan, 8,000 rockets, something really oddball to distract everyone to that. And while everyone's looking at what you just did here, everyone else moves on the side. Yeah, Joe, absolutely. There's some footage here. It was an Israeli soldier taking a video. He's crying. And he said, we didn't make it in time. They have the subtitles. And it's a bunch of just vehicles, like commuter vehicles. And the families looked like they were trying to run away and they got shot in the street. They were both Muslim and Jewish because some of the women had the little burqas. So clearly they just shot whoever the fuck was there. But there was one, she was on top of her baby. And I'm not going to show that because I just couldn't, I don't want to see that again. But right now in the US and Canada as well, and now Mexico has the same problem. We've got a lot of, hey, All American, hey, Georgia, hey, Water Tiger. If anyone I didn't say hi to, batshit, hello, Canadian, hey, you snuck in on me there. Hey, Jim. Oops. Farmer, good to see you. Um, and Jim, that's where I'm going. It's highly effective. It was very well coordinated because, let's face it, Israel's intelligence and their defensive units, as small as they are not to be fucked with, right? This is a phenomenally effective way to do that. And right now, we've got tens of thousands of people. Hey, kill it. In our country, in the USA, and we don't know who the hell they are. Um, think of, and this is me hypothesizing, right? This is not a, I'm not doing a tinfoil hat. I'm just saying, if you wanted to expand, oh, sorry, Bentley, why are you under the chair, dude? Bentley met new dogs today. He made friends with a very funny husky who they decided to go roll somebody's chihuahua together. And yeah, Bentley had to be kind of put back on the leash. He was being an ass, but he's like, he found a big Bentley. No, well, Joe, here's the thing. My thought is not Mexico. Mexico's had a problem, but think about our situation here in the States, right? We've got a lot of immigrants who I've met a lot of them. Like I'm meeting a lot of these Cuban and Venezuelan immigrants, and I'll run into them at a bar. We start talking. They're like, "Yeah, no, they're emptying the prisons. You know, I came here and I was whatever, an engineer, a doctor. I was a cop, and they're like, we bailed. We they're gonna kill us over there, but now we're seeing those same guys we threw in jail in the old country. You're letting them in here." You have no idea what you're letting in your country. This is the fucking immigrants telling me this, the Cubans. They're like, yeah, he calls, I never heard socialista so many times in one conversation because they're pissed at the White House right now. You say he's not a liberal. He's a liberal would have an intelligence. This is, this is a communist, and then he talked about the Bay of Pigs. He was really riled up. The point being, well, Farmer, that's where I'm going from. It's not, people from Mexico can come here in a freaking passport. The same way we go to Cancun. If I'm a felon, I can't go to Mexico, right? They're going to arrest me and throw me back. It's the same way the other way, right? The Mexicans can come here if they're not a criminal. They can go shopping in Dallas. They can go visit New York. They don't care. Uh-oh. Leaving 18th, getting mama and heading to, I have, wait. Urgent prayers for my sister, Maybeth. Okay, so guys, for those of you who practice faith, if you can say some prayers for Loretta, because she's having Looks like a rough time. I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, well, farmer, that's exactly right. It's maple syrup, cheese, and apologies. No, and what worries me is because of your sparkle socks guy up there, Canadian, to your point, who's to say someone won't pull a 9/11 style attack, say in Quebec or Ottawa or Vancouver, one of the cities? And while all the Canadian people and the RCMP and everyone look at that, shit happens across the rest of the country. That's the model. And I think Joe or Jim pointed it out, that Tet Offensive model, that something massive happens over here, something very distracting. And then, while they wait a minute until the response happens, and then everything else goes. And unfortunately, what I'm seeing in Israel, and again, I have extended family who are Jewish, they're married into our family. And right now, we can't reach people in Israel. Like, I'm asking, hey, call your cousins, some of the cousins and in-laws, like, call your cousins, call whoever, see how they're doing, and everything is quiet. NATO armed way more better than all. Yeah. Well, Joe, the concern is it wouldn't be an invasion like this. Israel's a much smaller country. My concern is, hey, Dan H, you don't need a lot of people, right? Hamas is probably pulling this off with 500 guys, 1,000 guys. They're just all over the place at once. It's going to take the IDF a while to start hunting down the individual groups or cells and dealing with them. At the same time, the Israeli Air Force is trying to shoot rockets down, so they're distracted. Um, yeah, probably so, Joe. That's probably exactly right. But this same model can be used here. Let's just say we have 1,000, take your country, Russian, Chinese, North Korean, chupacabras, whatever. We have 1,000 foes, right? Enemies in the country, right? And 10 of them go to New York and decide we're going to burn down part of Manhattan. So, boosh, there goes some Black Swan event. Everyone's going to, all the media, response to FEMA, the feds, everyone's going to be like, attacked. And they're going to focus there. They wait about 6 hours and then they hit Walmarts across the country, something like that. That's the kind of stuff that concerns me. So, like, folks like Joe and Jim and Devil Dog and all of y'all who are like, hey, always carry if you can carry, because that's the kind of stuff. I looked at the videos, and when I saw it first, it was kind of shock. I was like, holy shit, it's as horrendous, but it's brilliant. And it's very effective. And sadly, the reason it's effective is because they're slaughtering civilians. So now the responders have to deal with casualties while they're trying to kill the bad guys, right? Who don't think they're bad guys. They're freedom fighters because they're pissed off at Israel, right? So well, Yardbirds, it got inundated. They fired 8,000 rockets in the course of 5 hours, and the Iron Dome can only handle a capacity. So to have that many rockets ready, because a lot of these are homemade, or they're like, basically they have a blueprint and they make them and then they get propellant and warheads. They're really sad ass rockets. They're not very accurate. They just fire a shit ton at a general area and hope it just drops on them. Um, but the fact, how was I going to verbalize this? The fact that there were so many already in the country. True, Joe, but how many of them will actually put up a fight? How many of them are actually carrying? And that's what I'm saying. It varies greatly. You go to Idaho or Ohio or Oklahoma or Texas, some of these states, someone's going to shoot back, right? When the guy was shooting people off the UT Tower in Austin, back in the 60s or 70s, I forgot the guy's name, not Lee Harvey Oswald, the other idiot, the University of Texas Tower shooting. Within about 10 minutes, the local FFAs, cowboys, ranchers, and cops were shooting at him up at the tower, right? He had a few minutes uninterrupted. He immediately got resistance from the civilians as well as law enforcement. Ultimately, they trapped him. And thank you, Charles Whitman. Thank you, Joe. I figured Joe or Jim would know. Um, right, Charles Whitman, who was a Marine, by the way. That's why he was such a good shot. Uh, there was resistance. There were local folks grabbed their long guns and tried to fight him. And even though he was in the tower, they couldn't really be very accurate. They were able to suppress him from killing any more civilians because now he was taking fire. Uh, well, Dan H., that's exactly right. But imagine that they manufactured or snuck in or imported 8,000 freaking rockets. That's a shit ton of rockets. That's not something you do quickly. It's not like Russia could say, okay, I'm going to put 5,000 rockets in this province and boom, right, trains and trucks and drop them off. This is freaking Hamas. So they have to sneak them in because the Israelis are going to try and see this and bomb them, right? So they got to come in quietly and sneak it in. So hold on. Shoot, I lost the chat. The chat jumped on me. And oops, that's possible, right? But even so, even if they were commercially built, right, and they were black market rockets, they had to get snuck in to get that many that close to Israel, right? Because these things don't have a great range, right? I don't know what their range is, 20 kilometers, something like that. So they're kind of, short range or medium range rockets. They're not something, right, Joe, but a lot of Israeli citizens can carry. Actually, Israeli citizens can have a carry permit. They can carry a M16, with, but, right, to your point, the civilians are armed in Israel, and everybody got caught off guard. But what scares me is this is the same template that could be very effectively used here. All right, Canadian, well, enjoy that birthday, man. Give love to everybody. Give them hugs and kisses and all those people. Be safe. But to the point, it could happen down here. It could happen up there. The model that was used. So, like I said, I have extended, folks, in-laws or distant in-laws who are, have roots there. So, and friends. So, if I get any news, uh, I'll share that as appropriate. But the model that's being used, we can learn a lot in our community from what's happening there. Uh, Drone swarms. Batshit right. And see, somebody had mentioned if they snuck rockets here, we don't know. Okay. Supposedly they're finding surface to air missiles, little like manpad SAMs, were just intercepted by the federales coming into Mexico from the south, which were serial numbers dropped in Ukraine. So somehow it made its way from Ukraine into the black market in Africa and showed up in our southern border or in Mexico's southern border. And Mexico's like, no, fuck that. Well, Devil Dog, yeah. And there's that. We just gave them to get a few Americans back. Gave them 9 billion. And then we sanctioned something else. So I don't know. It could be the Chupacabra. Mm. My concern is this model. Hey, Mad Shad, welcome. Was very, very effective against the Israelis. And keep in mind, even in Ukraine, the Russians had what they call their resistance army in Donbass in the western region, which the Ukrainians are now chasing out, or trying to anyway. But hey, Georgia Peach, and I meant to say hi to you before I saw you back there, but then I got distracted. Um, it's concerning stuff. Watch what's happening. If I see anything else from some of these creators, these Israeli creators that I follow, uh, I will share, and so you guys can do your own reading. But this is a great opportunity to kind of understand how this 10% for Lindsey Graham. They're all freaking bunch of idiots. These politicians. Israel, if they think this is an existential threat, I think Israel would be more likely to drop a tactical nuke on someone than Russia would because they're much smaller. They got much more to lose, right? Overrunning Russia on ground in a ground war would be terrible. But hot wars have made more financial oversight than cold ones. Yeah. No, Joe. And Russia didn't go into that without Plan B. Ukraine. Just to switch subjects here. The hope was to finish the war in 2 weeks, but if that didn't happen, you notice Russia, once they couldn't consolidate, they backed up, they set up defensive lines, and they're just going to mix it up with Ukrainians until someone runs out of ammunition. Uh, hey, Cold War, but that template, the template of having a fifth column inside the country, the template of using essentially a black swan style attack to distract the primary response, while a ground attack or a seaborne attack, which basically was a bunch of rigid hull inflatables and other vessels hitting drone swarming Israel. Let's see, batshit. Let me see if I can pull that up on one of the other platforms. Because Israel definitely has the tech for that. Oops, sorry, wrong platform. That's not helpful. All right, let's see. Oh, hey, oh, imagine that. Trending Jerusalem, trending Israel, trending Israel. Okay, that's sad. With one of the trending is Israel, Israel. So apparently, misspelling is now trending, which is kind of sad. Drone swarm. Israel decides to cut electrical supply to Gaza. So, ta-da! I don't know if that's a video or is it going to do something? What the hell's happening here? I guess that's just a picture. Um, Breaking news: Israel turns off gas too, and the Israeli Air Force is, and that's where Israel becomes really dangerous. Their Air Force is phenomenal, and they've got ordnance, and they're good at it. So they've been using it for years. This is not going to be, and of course, this is in Iran, not a riot. They're celebrating because it's nighttime over there, almost nighttime. So this is this is ugly. That's in any case, I'm not seeing drone swarms. Let me see Israel drone swarms. Okay, apparently I can't spell drone swarm. Either I need more coffee or less alcohol, or maybe more alcohol. Uh, drone footage, drone footage. No, this is all like Yardbird. I thought they did. They have some, at least by the stuff I've seen. Not big ones like ICBMs. Yeah, Israel does have modern munitions. Okay, I can't find any footage on that. We'll keep an eye on it though. Um, but yeah, it's a rough deal, and sadly, the civilians. So, but and Farmer, to Oops's point, why didn't the CIA know? Why didn't the FBI know? Well, the FBI wouldn't have jurisdiction. What about Interpol, the Mossad, the French, the German GSG or G8 GSG? Sorry, um, the Brits, MI6. None of them. None of them. Nobody knew. Oh, hey, Israel, guess what? Someone's gonna fuck up your country. Excuse my language, but I mean, so it's hard to say uh, how this happened. Um, but keep in mind, I mean, that's how conflicts get won or attacks get won. Israel may have known something was pending, and it could have been like a 9/11 style where like they knew this and these guys knew that, and they hadn't put 1 + 1 + 3 together yet. And while they were trying to figure everything out, bam, something happened. Hey, my mother Spark. But what concerns me is that same model could be used here in the US, it could be used in Europe, it could be used in Canada. And it would be very effective if you think about it, right? You do a 9/11 style attack or a some kind of black swan incident in a major city, get everyone's attention there, give it about 12 hours to fester, and while everyone's focused on that, during those 12 hours, you execute a bunch of other things in a country. Um, you could hit power stations, you can shoot up Walmarts, whatever it is. We'll see, and constitutional Turkey will hang Hamas terrorists. Like they give zero shits. They will absolutely hang someone. Yeah, oops. It's well, you destroy all the countries, right? And then you just have chaos. And that's how you create new aristocracies. So it's really weird to see. No, Joe, they would definitely pick on Europe first. Also, even if you went and you attacked, say, Los Angeles and New York probably has more illegal guns in the civilian sector than the criminals, but because they're hiding them, right? They're not going to tell anyone they have them. But the coming like to West Texas or certain other places and shooting, somebody's going to take a shot back, right? They don't want that. They want big body counts. They want a lot of media coverage. And hey, MMS, yeah, I'd reached out to a couple of folks. One is CID, and one actually has family in Israel in the IDF. And I've heard from none of our guys. They're here, but in their defense, either A, they're traveling like I do, or B, they may not be able to get a hold of anyone, so they don't know what to tell me. Uh, but scary, and it's concerning. But there's an interesting template here. So from what I've pieced together, and again, this may be completely different a week from now. Joe beat me to it. They went with soft targets. They landed in open areas away from the malls, right? The malls are protected, the airports are protected. No, they landed in the freaking highways, killed the civilians, stole their cars, and then used that to transport themselves into the cities to attack the defenders. They attacked people on the highway. They attacked families on the highway. Sadly, they killed children and a bunch of people. Uh, Oh, Joe, and there's a whole nother debacle with Armenia and Azerbaijan and Turkey and that whole neck of the woods. So, one, I want to see what we can learn from what's happening to the Israelis. And two, I wonder what else is going on. Like I was looking, was someone being indicted today? Was someone arrested today? Did someone get called a pedo today? Like what else happened that we're getting distracted from? I don't know. I can't answer those questions. But folks, take this as a lesson. Watch what's happening, watch what's unfolding. And again, some of the footage on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram is pretty graphic. It's pretty rough to watch. Um, they were dragging some poor gal down the street, and they were dragging her to be assaulted somewhere else. But people were coming out and throwing her around. It was pretty rough to watch. Um, I saw some footage of dead kids, and it was pretty bad. So we're not going to show that right now. I'm sure you can find it on Reddit or X or wherever platform. Look at how these attacks are going down. Look what it means for the civilians. Um, I don't know. MMS had a lag for a second. So lessons to learn here, and keep in mind something like that happens. Mine's okay. It was bad the other day. Okay, 5 by 5 here. Yeah, it's concerning. Um, because again, I watched once I got a chance to look at some of this footage, I looked at it and go, God bless. That would be a phenomenal way to hurt America. Imagine a bunch of ultralights, right? They blow up, I don't know, LA or New York, and then a bunch of helicopters and ultralights or whatever the hell they use, they fly over the border wall, just fly in the way they deliver drugs and deliver people. Or the people are already here, they deliver equipment, firearms, explosives, whatever. Drop it the way they drop cocaine, just drop it the same way. Just drop, paradrop stuff, and they grab stuff and off they go. Hard to say, Joe. It's everything's bits and pieces right now, and so it's pretty ugly, Carpenter. Some of the footage I saw, I'm not going to show here. But some of it was, there was it was funny because it was an Israeli soldier, but there was clearly a guy who was Muslim in his, and he's on his knees crying because apparently the Hamas guy shot up the Israelis and then shot his wife and his kid, and he was injured. So I guess they thought he was dead. He went down. Maybe they knocked his ass unconscious, and he's crying over his family. The Israeli is trying to patch this poor guy up, and you could hear the Israeli's voice cracking because he's looking around, and it's just a they just murdered people in the street. It truly, it was, if ever there was a good example of an SHTF in real life, this was it for those folks. Um, yeah, Stephen, absolutely. And it's funny, so the fact that my wife's a keeper. She comes in the other day. She says, I got a box I need help with. I'm thinking to myself, shit, what did you buy now? I go out there. She has a case, not a box, like the whole freaking crate of 9 millimeter. She's like, you never know. Okay, I'll go put that in the stash. And I took that. It was heavy as shit too. I'm like, how'd you get it in the SUV? She's like, I asked the guys in front to load it for me. She went to the gun shop to, I don't know what the hell she was looking for, and came back with a crate of nine. So I can't complain. Uh, That is a keeper, I'm telling you. Um, Winning streak, it's we were talking about that, and what concerns me is that's a great template here. We have so many thousands of people in our country, military age men. We've been talking about it for months, and nobody. No, it wasn't Turkish. It was I can't remember who the hell it was. It wasn't that steel case stuff. It was brass case, but it was a U.S. manufacturer. I can't remember who the hell it was. But it's ugly, and you think about it, that same model could be used here very effectively, right? Right now we have immigrants sleeping in police stations. There are immigrants sleeping in O'Hare Airport in Chicago. Now, I'm not saying all of these people are bad. I bet, look, you take 1,000 people, 999 can be good people. You just need one asshole to go and set fire to a car and blow up a jet fuel truck. It shuts down the airport. So what happens? Everyone responds to the airport, and now his buddy somewhere else in Chicago can go and shoot up a Walmart because all the cops are going to the airport. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's happening in Israel right now is no, no, it's my stuff's all brass. I've blown out ejectors with steel case. Other than my Russian guns, which are designed for steel case, I won't shoot anything else. Joe's not going to start World War III. No, Joe's waiting. It's a sad reminder why disarming a population is a death sentence. And you know what's funny, Joe? A lot of the Israelis do carry, but they had a false sense of security that, oh, well, the IDF will protect us. Well, the IDF, much like the police, cannot be everywhere. And yeah, there's stuff where the nukes missing from planes are too. Yeah, I don't know. But again, what I'm watching happen in Israel would be a phenomenal template to use against the West. Honest to God, when I saw this, I started, before I came on live, I wasn't going to come on live because I did my little live stream at the farmer's market. When I started seeing the footage roll in, I said, holy shit. I said, it's almost like they're practicing for what to do here. And of course, our administration, their reaction to if we had something like that happen here where there were attacks everywhere would be, oh, well, we're going to declare martial law and we're going to take all your guns because that's going to make it better. And then Texas and Oklahoma and various other states will be like, you no longer have jurisdiction. and then things will happen. Um, we've already had Texas Rangers threaten to arrest federal agents for violating Texas law, and so yeah, the state. I think Texas will declare itself a republic and ask Arkansas and Louisiana if they want to come in on that. Because you know Florida is going to do it too. Florida and Alabama and Mississippi will be like, Southeast Conference bitches, bye. And they're going to become their own little country. And Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas will do the same, probably drag New Mexico in. Um, and to be honest, I don't think the cartels want Hamas because that's just going to attract A-10s and Blackhawks. And they're like, no, we don't want that shit. We'll drop you off and off you go, be gone. Um, but the cities, the big cities, Chicago, New York, LA, Seattle, those will nobody carries there. 1 out of 100, not like 1 out of 20 here in Texas. Um, right now, we have 25 million citizens in Texas. There are 3 million concealed carry owners. Those are people who actually went through the license process, not including constitutional carry, which means as long as you're not a felon, you can carry. And it's not including the country boys who are like, I don't need a handgun. I got a long gun and I'm good. So, no, it wouldn't, Joe. It wouldn't be an invasion. I could see a disruptive attack to take us off the chessboard for a month so that someone can do something somewhere else, i.e., Taiwan, right? You drop our grid, right? And we fight, it takes us, say, a month. Maybe it's not a year, it's a month. We get the grid back up. We have a shit show here. And in the meantime, they hit Taiwan and the Seventh Fleet's in it with the Filipinos and the Japanese all fighting the Chinese. Uh, Canada shit all the time, but Canada is the second most. France is currently being invaded. This is true. But this is a good reason to carry wherever you go. If you're lawfully allowed to do so, or if you can do so without getting yourself in trouble. Um, you never know. I mean, these folks I saw in the footage on the highway, they look like they were going on vacation. Like these folks, it was weird to behold because, hold on, what is this? So this is American Prepper Club. He's on, or she's on Instagram, or he. And the first comment, our country couldn't handle an attack like this. No one is coming to save you. Prepare accordingly. If you're on Instagram, American Prepper Club puts some really awesome photos. But he's right, I'm trying to find the footage of the, well, apparently I have pictures of corgis everywhere. Can imagine that, right? The dog guy. Uh, Attack on highway. Damn it! I'm gonna have to find it later, guys, and share the video with you. Oh, here it is. It was part of it. Nope, that is not it. That has nothing to do with that. That is a drunk driver. How the hell? What the hell algorithm? The Mr. Zuckerberg's an asshat because I watch. I'm gonna get kicked off Instagram for saying that. Because like I put Israel attack on the highway and I get a drunk driver in Chicago. Like who the hell? That's not what I wanted. Douchebags. Sorry, I'm all sorts of salty with a bunch of shit today. Um, oh wow, that one I probably. Well, so here's an example. Terrorists captured by the security forces in one of the communities, and it's the cops and the civilians tied them up and threw them on the floor, and they took away whatever the hell was in that Tupperware thing here. So, golden books. So, a lot of interesting things happening there. I agree that. Appreciate the salt. Other countries invading the US, go for it. No, and Yardbirds, I don't think they'd invade the US. I think they would jack up the US somehow, knock out part of the grid, blow up a city, shoot up Walmarts, whatever. Get us distracted or screw up enough of our shit so that they can do something somewhere else. Like China wants Taiwan, so let's go screw with the American grid. Even if we get it up a week later, um, they've made their move, right? Now all our assets are strung out, which would be a smart play. Um, Winning stream, I'm telling Hudson. I'm telling Hudson. Oh, Canadian prepper. Uh, but yeah, folks, wait, what is that, Jim? Two Frauds in One by Alan Weisbecker. Okay, that's an interesting. No, MMS, I don't think we can. We've got too much take and shoot at Walmart. I don't shop there. Um, Honestly, we've got so many other things on our plate. Uh, it is gray zone warfare. So, folks, what I would encourage you all to do, look at what's happening and imagine, take that template. And I don't know if you're in UK. I know some of you are in the UK, Canada, US, Mexico. I have Argentinian followers. I have followers over in Europe. Yeah, he does winning streak because he needs material for his We All Gonna Die Wednesday, right? It's like a comedian watches the politicians so he has material for the late show. I know what Hudson's doing. Um, and I wish I could catch more of his live streams. It's just my schedule's so jacked up. But folks, learn, see what's happening, and then adjust accordingly. Understand if this happened here, what would you do? And that could be a whole nother live stream. But be smart about how you prepare when you travel, right? Like right now, like I told you guys this morning, Sassy's in San Antonio. One of the women in her like her Etsy guild, like this is an artisan guild. The husband, 64, 65, um, got disoriented at home, and then he passed out. And then he came to, but he wasn't right, and they took him in. Then they find out he had a stroke, and he they fought for 3 weeks, and he lost. And so, and now she's in the middle of a bunch of Etsy orders for homecoming and football, and this is money she now needs, like desperately, because he's gone. And so women from all across Texas have been driving to her in shifts to help him out. So there's a girl coming from El Paso, one coming from South Texas, one came from the Panhandle, which is like a 9 hour drive for her, all the way down to San Antonio. And these girls are getting together, and all the local members of this group are providing meals for the girls who are visiting so they can stay there. So they've been working like through the night. So which is cool. And that's a hell of a mag. I told my wife that. I was like, you have a mutual assistance group right there. I said, they're just, they're arts and crafts folks and Etsy folks, not preppers. And she looks at me and goes, about a third of them follow you. Trust me, they're preppers. So I'm like, that's good to know. So at least, we know we have a mix of talents there. But yeah, so it's basically now a bachelor pad. It's me, three potatoes, and the loofah. Um, Bentley finally got quiet. Where's his dumbass? He's too quiet now. No, they're all passed out. And my potato over here is watching me. Herding dogs are funny because wherever I go, they all follow. They're not like a lab. A lab will look at you and go, "Oh, okay, Dad," and go back to sleep. A shepherd will go back to sleep. No, corgis and Aussie shepherds will follow you. The herd is moving. So, Joe, that's true. That's true. Well, like you and I come from completely different backgrounds, and yet we have a pretty good sense of humor about everything, right? Because it's, at the end of the day, people are people. And there's evil, and then there's everyone else. So, ground is about to freeze. Yeah, that would be a bad idea. Then you wouldn't be able to get it. The Bears would get it before you do. Um, but folks, look at what's happening. Use it as a template. What would happen if I was on the highway and whatever X occurred? Very unlikely in the U.S. Hey, Moldy, but it could happen. And if I get any news from any of my work or other colleagues in that part of the world, I reached out to my corporate security guy. He's like, yeah, I can't talk right now. Something like he's a Brit. He's an SAS guy who's now does contract security for the company. So when our guys go into certain areas, they're kind of like the oh shit crew if we have to get out. And they're like, yeah, we don't know what the hell is going on. We're just getting our people out until we figure out what's happening. So, but look, be safe out there. Be careful. with what's going on. If you can carry, you can lawfully or not get in trouble, or if you're good enough to hide it, have tools available for emergencies. How about that? Is that a politically correct way to say it? Have tools available ranging from first aid kits to protective items as needed. And let's watch how this plays out. Uh, but some of the footage I saw was heartbreaking. And what's sad is the response from Israel is going to be brutal. Once Israel consolidates, it's going to be brutal. And sadly, of course, it's civilians and families on both sides are going to suffer, but no one's going to save your bacon for it. Yeah, and that's right, Joe. I know someone who was, because of stupidity in his younger days, cannot carry a handgun in Texas. So he has a Lucille bat. I'm like, is that legal? He said, technically, it's a, what did he call it? A collectible. I said, it's a collectible. He said, yeah, he painted it and he called it the Lucille bat. He basically made it like The Walking Dead. And I'm like, you know what? I'd take a Lucille bat over, my baseball cap any day. I mean, that has it has its benefits. I'm just saying, a good blunt object with pokers. But anyway, yeah, that one's a character. I put him on my YouTube. We may all get banned. Any case, guys, be careful, be safe out there. Watch what's happening because, as always, there's always a lesson to learn. Yeah, well, Joe, absolutely. Well, okay, a baseball bat, yes. A Lucille bat, like Negan had, is a modified bat, and therefore that kind of gets sus. But technically, he says it's a collectible. So, but folks, be careful, be safe out there, and just watch what's going on. But pay attention to everything else. Just keep radars on and do what you got to do. Now's it's a beautiful weekend here in Texas. It was 50 degrees this morning out here in West Texas, nice and pretty. Uh, I got to hit the markets. I'm going to go get some errands done. I'm going to put the potatoes in their crates so they don't destroy the house while I'm gone. And a pipe. Well, technically, Mad Dogs, it would be a cheater pipe for your car jack, right? Um, 71 here. Probably warmed up here. No, we're 60 degrees still. We're cold up here, Cold War. No pun intended. Situational awareness, kill it. Absolutely. Be careful. Be safe out there. Watch each other's backs. And I will see you all next time. But, if something really good comes up, I'll pop back on later tonight. A Warhammer. Like, like in Warhammer 40,000, where they have the spacesuits and then they have that big whacker to hit the aliens. Um, that's the first thing that popped in my head was like the battle hammer from that space game. Anyway, guys, be safe, be careful, God bless. Eyes up. Don't look at phones when you're walking around Walmart, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, be safe, and thanks for joining me again.